So I'm particularly excited about this release because this is the first release that we have of Model Context Protocol coming to your environment, being able to present Veeam context to a place where you want to use AI, with AI models that you want to use. They could be local, they could be private, they could also be commercial models that you prefer to use over one or another. They could be on something like OpenClaw, your own personalized agent. They could be in something like Claude Cowork. That's what the power of MCP brings. It allows you to plug in data sources from other systems. And so with this MCP announcement today, we're able to bring that Veeam context to you, to your system, wherever you want to use AI. So the announcements, there's a blog on it, fantastic blog, fantastic write-up on veeam.com. There's also this launch video. I want to see the start of this, and then we're actually going to flick over and I want to talk you through a little around about how Veeam Intelligence works under the hood, how you can connect into it, and then we'll actually walk through in a bit more detail some of the sort of use cases that you maybe see further on in this video. So let's get this underway.
Unlock Veeam Intelligence at the operational edge with Veeam Intelligence MCP. Veeam Intelligence MCP Server extends the power of Veeam's trusted operational signals far beyond the Veeam console, delivering real-time insights exactly where enterprise operations happen. By exposing Veeam Intelligence through the Model Context Protocol, you can seamlessly merge protection, recovery, malware, and compliance data with signals from ITSM, storage, cloud, security, and monitoring platforms. All of this is available in one unified conversational workflow, enabling you to interact with your environment using the power of conversational AI. Let's see how Veeam Intelligence MCP brings actionable insight and automation to your operational edge.
Good morning.
Okay, so that's kind of the intro video, which I really like what the team's done there. But let's take a look. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's refresh ourselves on what Veeam Intelligence is. So when it comes to Veeam Intelligence, it's like this. Largely, we have something like Veeam ONE. It's also available on Veeam Data Platform, so inside of Backup Replication. If you're a service provider, it's also available in Service Provider Console. And the idea is you as a user within the product will ask a question. And that question will actually get sent up to a bunch of Veeam Intelligence cloud services that we host. You can see on the right-hand side, it's got a private Azure OpenAI large language model attached to it. So any of the inferencing data can't be used for retraining. There's a whole terms of service available on our website around that and how we protect your privacy when it comes to Veeam Intelligence. What's actually going to happen is if these agents determine that it needs to get context from your environment, this could be like get my alarms, for example, like in this example, it'll actually reach out, that orange bar there, and actually go and fetch those alarms for you. So your client will actually go fetch them and send that up as additional context to these AI agents. Now, you'll notice the second part of this query is how can I resolve? And so what will actually happen is the AI agents will determine that it should go and find some data sources and some answers to maybe how to resolve those alarms. And it uses Veeam's trusted data sources. We curate these data sources, we update them, and we constantly update them with fresh kind of content as advice changes, as products change. And so we can then start blending your context, so your exact alarm, for example, with the latest information that we have in our data sources. Then this is a simplified view. We pass kind of all of this through to a large language model with your context and the question, as well as any of the content that we've sort of found that is relevant to that alarm. And then some post-processing happens, tidy it all up, and we resend it back to your client, and you consume it within Veeam Data Cloud. So the answer will be there. You can ask follow-up questions, you can download artifacts that it might have generated, such as table data, etc. Very, very powerful tool. Lots of our customers are using it. But now the really exciting thing is we can bring this experience to somewhere that you might already use. And so if we kind of zoom out a bit here, now we can kind of add this laptop. It could be, again, an OpenClaw instance. It could be whatever it is that you want to connect this into that supports Model Context Protocol as a server. And so all of a sudden, we can drop something like Claude Desktop in. and then we hook it up via this Model Context Protocol server that we have announced today. So with that, and again, this is a very simplified view, it then talks to the product APIs to basically broker everything that we just went through. So you can ask a question inside of Claude Desktop. It will then basically broker all of that cloud infrastructure side of things. All of the same search and knowledge base enrichment will then get returned, but the answer actually gets returned inside of your interface. And then you can choose kind of what you want to do with it after that. So let's take a look through this video, and I'll kind of narrate as we go through something here. So you can see that I've asked this question, like, what do my Veeam environments look like today? What was their last state, any duration, any warnings, and also any active alarms in Veeam ONE. So you can see that thing that's buzzing at the bottom there, it's thinking. It's actually going out and fetching that answer from Veeam Intelligence. And I've asked for an HTML report here. So you can see it's got all that data back, and now it's creating this HTML report. So on the right hand side, you can see that's now come up, and you could say make it black and white. You could put your own logo in here. You could completely customize this, tell it that you want specific information or in a specific tone for a different persona. And you can see it's done a really good job. All of those artifacts, because we actually present them back as proper JSON artifacts or artifacts that a large language model can understand, it can present things like tables. It's not just giving you a text answer back as a paragraph. So now you can see this is really where the power is. I'm going to pause this for a second, because Model Context Protocol is so powerful because we can plug in more than one system. And so what I've done inside of this desktop here is I've also plugged in a ServiceNow Model Context Protocol server. So all of a sudden, my Claude desktop is kind of bridged, is sitting in between, is kind of this middleware almost with this big brain, this big large language model that's now connecting off to ServiceNow, it's connecting off to Veeam, and I can kind of orchestrate what I want it to do. And so what I'm doing here now, as I said, there was obviously alarms in our report that we saw. So please go and create an incident within ServiceNow. And so you can see that's happened now. If I go and refresh ServiceNow, you'll see there's that incident number with the number that was returned back. And you can see all those details that we returned from that Veeam Intelligence engine has been enriched automatically into this ticket, which is pretty powerful. Now, the other thing that you might want to do is you might want to take this to a stand-up meeting. So what if you got, Claude Desktop to create a PowerPoint presentation? So again, with that same context that we've already fetched, now I can use that same content to take that to maybe, my Monday morning stand-up meeting, whatever that is, to then go and say, hey team, this is what we need to kind of work on today. And so you'll see now it's working through that process of creating the PowerPoint presentation. And in a minute here, we'll open up on the side. And so now there's that PowerPoint presentation. And again, you could kind of curate that to the exact format that you want. You could make it more slides, less slides. You could actually go and hook it up to different Model Context Protocol servers to pull in other different information from within your environment or your ServiceNow tickets, a CRM, whatever that is. And that's really the power of MCP. And the other thing that large language models are very good at, of course, is this multilingual side of things. So here I'm turning, and I'm not sure, I don't speak French, but you can see here that it's turned that same English report that I was working with into a report that's in French that I could then pass to a colleague who maybe speaks French. And what you're seeing here is all the connectors. So this is where you'll configure connectors inside of Claude, for example, and all of those get connected up. And some of them are more advanced than others. Most of them are pretty simple. And Claude and other providers also now have some that just come out of the box. So it's very easy to toggle access to external systems on now through this Model Context Protocol server or other integrations that these types of platforms provide. So that's really it. The only other thing that I kind of wanted to show you was, I guess at a high level here is, and just to reiterate kind of what I've been talking about, is the real power of this isn't just connecting Claude Desktop to Veeam's, new model context, Veeam Intelligence new Model Context Protocol server, although that will give you, a lot of pleasure. The real power here is actually connecting it up to more friends, as I like to call them, or different MCP servers. And so there's a large array. You can check out things like that MCP server directory, which will list out a vast number of MCP servers and services that people provide. And then something like this could be what your environment looks like. You've got this model of your choice inside either Claude Desktop or Visual Studio Code or Microsoft Copilot, and you hook it up to all the Veeam services that we have, ServiceNow, maybe even Microsoft 365. That is really the power of Model Context Protocol Server. So I really urge you to go check out that announcement. Get started with Veeam Intelligence MCP Server today if you're already playing around with AI systems, and if you're not, think about how this could kind of streamline your workflow going forward when you're working with our environments.